Patrick Mahomes not being selected for the Pro Bowl is one of the worst snubs in NFL history. Let this sink in. The undisputed, unquestioned best player on the planet, not just in his conference, not in his division, the best football player on the planet, unquestioned, doesn't make the Pro Bowl. Like, the disrespect is just insane. I mean, you just have to look at the people that were selected over him. Don't get me wrong. There were some decent people that had objectively slightly better or just objectively better season than him this year. But let's just look at the people that were selected. You had Lamar Jackson. Okay, boom. I'll give you that. That's fine. You can have Lamar. That's fine. Lamar had a crazy season, historical season. I mean, he had the 4th highest passer rating in history. So, hey, you know what? With Lamar, I'll give you that. I mean, he's probably going to win his 3rd MVP, which is insane. So I'll give it to Lamar. That's fine. Then you got Josh Allen. Josh Allen had a crazy year. Going in this year, everyone thought the Bills were going to be garbage. Stephon Diggs was gone. It was, yep, they're cooked. It wasn't just Stephon Diggs. They got rid of so many good players, and Josh was like, holding my beer. So I'll give that to Josh too. Josh can have that one too. But here's where it gets dicey. The next ones, right? Okay, Joe. Hear me out when it comes to Joe Burrow. Okay, I know Joe had a crazy statistical year this year. I know he had an insane amount of passing yards. I think he led the league in passing. He had a crazy amount of yards. Joe had 4,900 yards, almost 5,000 yards passing. So I can kind of see it with Joe, but you have to think about it though. Why was he throwing for so many yards though? It wasn't his fault, but his team was bad. So, I mean, I get it, but like, he had crazy yards and stats, but it's like, okay, even with the Joe thing, it's like, I can see Lamar, Josh, Joe, I kind of get it, but here is where it gets really dicey. They didn't even select Mahomes as an alternate. You know who got the alternate spot above Mahomes? Drake May of the sorry Patriots? Are we serious right now? Drake May of the sorry Patriots got the alternate spot over Mahomes. And I'm not even a Mahomes meat writer. I just call it like I see it. Drake May. Are we really gonna put Drake May in the Pro Bowl over Patrick Mahomes, the best player on the planet? Let that sink in. Like, oh my goodness, that is insane. But in order to see whether or not Patrick Mahomes got snubbed for Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, or Drake May, we got to look at historically what gets you into the Pro Bowl. That's what we got to go to first, okay? There's 3 main things that get you into the Pro Bowl, okay? First off, it's your name. What have you done in the league already? Are you an established player already? Have you maybe won some championships? Have you made a name for yourself? Have you maybe won some MVPs? Are you just objectively one of the best quarterbacks in the league, or the best players at your position in the league? So then cool. Some people, they get in off their name. They may not have the best season, but their name is still a household name, is big enough to get them in. Cool. Then the next thing that can get you in is stats. Okay, stats can get you in. So did you have a crazy statistical year? Lamar had a crazy statistical year. Joe had a crazy statistical year. Josh actually had a crazy statistical year. Like, he normally throws like a lot of touchdowns and scores and stuff, but he normally has like a lot of interceptions and turnovers, but he had them interceptions and turnovers down this year. Then you got to look at team success, right? If you were so good to make a Pro Bowl, where was your team at? Did your team get to the playoffs? Did your team miss the playoff? Did your team have a winning record? Was your team the top of your conference, at least the best in your division? Little stuff like that, right? So you got name, stats, and success. So let's go at each individual one and compare it to what Mahomes did, and let's just see. Let's see if the person passes the test. Now let's go ahead and compare Lamar with Patrick, right? Total yards per game. This season, Lamar was at 300.4. Patrick Mahomes was at 264.7. Cool. Lamar, you got him there. Touchdown turnover ratio. Lamar has a 43-9. That is insane. Patrick had a 28-11. All right, cool. Lamar, you got him there. And now let's look at the holy grail passer rating. What was Lamar's passer rating? 121.6. That is insane. And what was Patrick's passer rating? 93.5. All right, cool. Lamar, check. You got yourself that Pro Bowl spot. You deserve it. And you're probably going to get your MVP. You deserve that. Let's look at Josh real quick. Josh, what were your total yards per game? 266.4. Pretty good. And what was Patrick's? 264.7. 2 yards. Slight edge to Josh. Okay, fine. Now let's look at the touchdown to turnover ratio. Okay, cool. Josh had a 40-8 8. That's insane. 40-8 touchdown to turnover ratio. And Patrick, he had a modest 28-11. Cool. Wiped him right there. Fine. And let's look at passer rating. Josh had a 101.4 passer rating. And Patrick had like a 93.5. Still decently close, but Josh, you got your spot. That's good. Now let's go to Joe real quick. Joe, what were your yards per game? And I know it had to be crazy because you don't get to 4,900 yards and your total yards per games are low. So let's see what Joe's was. Joe's total yards per game was 302 yards, 0.7. I'll give him the 0.7. 302.7, but 302 yards a game. Okay. And Patrick's was 264.7. All right, cool. Joe absolutely just walked him there. Fine. Joe, what was your touchdown to turnover ratio? 44-13. Jesus, that is insane. My God. And what was Patrick's? 28-11. So boom, Joe wipes him there. Okay, cool. Now Joe, what was your passer rating? It had to be something crazy, right? It couldn't be that high, right? It can't be that high. 109.8. Holy baby. And what was Mahomes? 93.5. So boom, Lamar, Josh, and Joe, your spots are secured. It's justified, but that's not my main gripe. My main gripe is Drake May. Let's look at Drake May's stats. Let's compare Drake May to Mahomes that is not good enough to make a Pro Bowl. Let's see. Let's start off with total yards just to put this in perspective. Patrick Mahomes had 3,928 yards this season. Let's take a guess. Let's see what Drake May's yards were. Drake May had 2,276 yards. That is almost if my math serves me correctly, a 1,700 yard gap. That is insane. Okay, let's go to the next one. And I would bring up yards per game, but we can assume that if one person had almost like a little more than 1,700 more yards than the previous person, their yards per game is probably going to be a lot higher. So let's go to the other statistics. Patrick Mahomes had a 26-11 touchdown to interception ratio, and Drake May had a 15-10. Again, another wipe by Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes' QBR was 67.7. And guess what Drake May's was? Is it going to be higher or lower? Which one are you going to bet on? If you had to bet your life savings on if it's going to be higher or lower, which one are you betting on? Drake May's QBR was 58.6. Another category, Mahomes just wiped this man in. But Mahomes was not an alternate. Drake May was the alternate. Make this make sense. And then last but not least, let's just put the holy grail stat, passer rating. Mahomes at a 93.5 and Drake May at an 88.1. Now let's look at the final part, bro, because we already covered name alone. Name alone, Patrick Mahomes' name holds way more weight, astronomical more weight than Drake May. That's not a question. Cool. Then what we say next? The stats. We just went over the stats. He just wiped them in the stats. What's the third part? Let's look at team success. Did Drake May have a better season team-wise than Mahomes? Did he just have a crazy record? Let's just see what the records were. Last time I checked, the Chiefs were 15-2. And I'm not even going to count that last one because like none of the starters played. So let's be real. Mahomes was 15-1 this year. 15-1. Number one seed in the AFC. The AFC with the best quarterbacks in the league, by the way. Number one in the AFC. Not number one in his division. Number one in the whole conference. 15-1 as a starter this season. Let that sink in. What was Drake May's great record that got him into the Pro Bowl? The great holier than thou Drake May had a whopping 4-13 record. So let me get this straight. Mahomes has a bigger name than this man. Mahomes has better stats than this man. Mahomes had drastically better team success than this man. And he is not made an alternate? Drake May is made an alternate over Mahomes? Make this make sense. This has to be one of the worst snubs in NFL history. Like, it's just so blatantly sad. I get it that people don't like to see the Chiefs win, but like, bro, you messing with like legacies at this point. You're not really gonna mess with Mahomes' legacy because Mahomes' legacy is already cemented at this point. But like, bro, this is just straight blasphemy at this point. Drake May over Patrick Mahomes is one of the craziest things I've ever seen.